Hi, my name is Miri, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, practicing in Nairobi. Welcome to Sheria, a platform where we educate the common mwananchi on the law with the aim of equipping and empowering you.
Hi, my name is Judy Ochollah, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya with almost a decade in practice. Welcome to Sheria.
Today, we're going to deal with the three arms of the government and the role they play in the law. So the first arm of government.
The first arm of the government we're going to talk about today is the Judiciary, aka Justice Kome, with all due respect. So the Judiciary, what do you need to know? This is the arm of the government that decides on cases. This is because when you're going to court, you as two people, you have decided, hamwezi skizana, so you're bringing in a neutral party to help you in this dispute in an amicable way. That is why you're going to court. So that is the Judiciary. Their decision is supposed to be binding, meaning they can even involve the police to ensure that you follow the decision of the court. The second is the legislator. The legislative arm of the government is there to help you make law, this law that is binding to you. So at the end of the day, you're supposed to know how this law is made through the legislative arm of the government. We'll talk about something known as public participation, where you're supposed to be involved through the legislative arm of the government, sit down, come up with a law, and then this law, again, is binding. Third arm of the government?
The executive, basically with the head of the executive as?
His Excellency Ruto.
Yes. Basically, the work of the executive is to, as the name says, to execute the law. So just to touch a bit on the judiciary, the judiciary is made up of the courts. There are the superior courts and the subordinate courts. So the superior courts are three. We have the Supreme Court, which has dealt with, or basically deals with, presidential electoral petitions, among other cases that involve the general public. We have mostly seen it, however, in the presidential election petitions, as of course we all know. We also have the Court of Appeal, and we also have the High Court. Now, we also have the subordinate courts. Those are the magistrate courts. We have the tribunals. I'm sure some of you have encountered the Rent Tribunal. And we also have the court-martial and the Catholic courts. The Catholic courts are basically courts that are governed by the Islamic law, as we had talked about in our previous episode.
So Mary, if I meet the common mwananchi, what is this information going to help them? So now, for example, just touching on the court, I have come to you and I want to go to court. What can you tell me about the legal system? Nitaanzia wapi? Nasikianga tu there's Milimani law courts, there's Makadara law courts. Where do I go? Where is this normal mwananchi supposed to get this information from?
Yeah. So basically the judicial system and the courts, to be precise, for one to know where to go. Ukona kesi yako, you need to know, where should I file this suit? Should I go to Milimani, as she said, Makadara? There are a few aspects that I'm sure even your advocate, in the event you have one, will help you decide. One is the jurisdiction of the court. There are matters where a particular court cannot deal with that matter. For instance, in matters of constitutional rights. Constitutional rights are the rights that are in the Constitution, such as the right to own property, such as human rights. So such matters are dealt with in the High Court, meaning you file the suit by way of a petition.
Just to touch on that also, something that can affect which court I should go to is where I'm located. So there's no reason why I should wake up today and just because I feel like it, I'll go all the way to Nakuru to file a matter in Nakuru. So meaning I should go to the nearest locality or jurisdiction of a court, which will help me decide that matter. So for example, if my property is located in Marsabit, there's no reason why I should file and disturb the legal system in Nairobi, in Milimani.
Yeah.
I'm going all the way to Marsabit to help us. And we're making life easier.
Exactly. And the diversification of these courts is basically to help, even isn't the burden on the court system. So they are distributed. The files are distributed. The cases are distributed in the different areas of this country. We also have, I think we've talked about also the tribunals. They also help distribute the workload for the courts. Now we can also look at the pecuniary value of the subject matter. What do I mean? Kama ni land yako ni ya pesa ngapi? So if it's 20 million and above, that's when you go to the High Court. However, if it's 20 million and below, you now go to the subordinate courts. That's the magistrate court, and it goes on all the way to the tribunals. That's where that's how we separate the two.
Just in summary, the Constitution, under the chapter that deals with the judiciary, it lists all these courts and it lists what each court is supposed to deal with. You go to the Supreme Court, everything, whether this is very readily available. Enda kwa katiba yako, the Supreme Court, this is what it can listen to. The Chief Magistrate Court, this is what it can listen to. Even Kadhi courts, if you don't want to go to court, this is what it can listen to. So that is a major part of the judiciary.
Now, what happens if you don't want to go to court? But shida bado uko nayo. You're still not understanding each other with the other party. So where do you go? What do you do? There's what we call alternative dispute resolution. In short, ADR. I'm sure you've heard that term being thrown around. So ADR is another way of resolving a problem between you and the other party without having going to court. Now we have several ways. We have mediation, we have arbitration, we have reconciliation. So those are some of the ways we can solve an issue without having going to court. Now, there are times that the court itself will refer you to ADR methods. And this also helps the court, again, get rid of the workload. If they look at an issue, especially in family matters, land matters, and see, this thing, it can be solved in ADR. They refer you to ADR. So now, what exactly is arbitration?
A chilled version of a court system. So for example, it is a family matter. Remember, the court does not want you guys to fight forever, because after the matter has been solved, you are still family. So it is sending you out there through a neutral party to sit down and say, these are my malalamishes, these are your lalamishes. This is what we are bringing to the table. This is what I can compromise on. This is what I cannot compromise on. Because remember, the court mtapigana sana with your lawyers. But now when it is arbitration, it is a neutral party, anawaleta chini muonge in such a way that you can solve this matter in a soft version. So in short, I'm calling the court a suited up person, but I'm calling the arbitration system like a casual Friday.
Dressed down.
Yeah, dressed down Friday.
However, let's not get things confused. Whatever decision is made in this alternative dispute resolution methods is binding. So I think we should also discuss what makes you go for, or what will motivate you to go for ADR and choose ADR over the court system. What are the merits? What are the disadvantages? For ADR, the matter is dealt with in a more private manner. That's why you'll find in many contracts, you'll find a clause. In many company contracts, you'll find a clause where in case there's an issue between the parties to that contract, they refer their matter to arbitration. Now, when you bring your matter to the courts, tutaingia pale Kenya law reports, and we shall be able to access even the judgment you're given, even the ruling you're given. We'll see everything. But when you go to ADR, your matter is kept hapo tu chini ya maji between you guys. The second thing is, as I've already belabored this point, the court system, it's flooded. So you might get your matter solved in, I don't know how many years. However, when you use the ADR system, the matter is solved quickly, efficiently. Then also, when it comes to costs, I'm sure watu wenye mepitia makesi, you know that the legal process can be costly. So when it comes to costs, when you deal with the court system, at the end of that case, it's the court which decides who will pay the costs. However, if you go to arbitration, it's the party, each party will cater for their own costs. In case there's a third party, the parties will equally distribute the costs for the third party. So at least hapo, you can control how much money you're going to spend. Exactly.
Just to add on to that, in matters of money, the minute you're going to court and you're filing anything, before anything can get to the judge, we call this filing. You must pay a fee. You must pay your advocate. If you lose the case, you're going to pay the other advocate as well. And if you win, you'll also have to pay your advocate. But now, alternative dispute resolution, remember, sometimes nachomea kidogo, lakini wakili anaweza napiga makelele tu kotini. And there's nothing at the end of the day you're gaining. But arbitration or mediation, again, remember, it is a chilled version. So you're also trying to save on coins.
Exactly. Now, just to bring a downside to the arbitration bit, when you go to the court system, like I said, there are the subordinate courts, there are the superior courts. So with the court system, you're given a chance to appeal a decision or review a decision. With the ADR, not really. So the decision that the arbitrator makes, it's binding, it's final, unless for one reason or the other, it wasn't arrived at through the right procedures. So then now you can appeal the decision. However, that rarely happens. And you rarely are able to prove that it wasn't arrived at well. So on the safer side, in case you feel like, hey, kuna venye I can lose and I don't want to appeal, go to the court system. So the decision is yours, basically.
So in today's episode, at least, we have helped you understand the arms of the government and focused more on the judicial system, the judiciary, and how it affects you on matters of law. Ukikuwa na mata kotini, how do you go about it? And remember, the court is not the only system that can seek your redress.
I feel like we should tell them where they should find these arbitrators.
Oh yes, for example, we have a Kenyan Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, which lists all the arbitrators that you can get.
Exactly. And there are many, many more that will be listed below in the description.
Thank you for having us today. We hope we've had an interactive session with you. And in case there's anything else you'd want to know from us, any questions, burning queries, anything you'd want to learn, please engage us at the comment section down below. We'll be happy to tackle those issues. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.